everybody, how's it going? Screezilla here, and I hope you're all well. And join me today in Total War Shogun 2, Fall of the Samurai. A Total War game that, I don't know, gets a little bit underrepresented sometimes. Doesn't really get too much attention, I think. And I kind of think it deserves a bit more, because it is pretty darn fun. It's actually it's possibly my favourite Total War game so far, and I absolutely adore Three Kingdoms, so that says a lot. So I've had little mods added to this now to really make it enhanced for me. So I've got the Radious mods off of Steam, as well as better cannons, better artillery, and I think I got the tower mod as well. So yes, totally didn't have to edit something out there. So yeah, we're going to start a new campaign. And, well, we've got the option of playing the Imperials or the Shogunate. So at this time of, well, Japan's sort of life, there was sort of two ways of thinking, well, two factions sort of arose, really. The Shogunate and the Imperials. The Shogunate were very much traditionalists and were looking to keep the country insular. Of course, because Japan had closed borders for such a long time until America showed up and went, no, you're not allowed to be closed. You've got to be open so we can trade with you, because we're America and we say so. For once, and not England. Usually England are the ones that cause that kind of issue. One of the problems was simply that the Dutch were trading with Japan at the time, and this caused minor issues and made people a little bit less friendly towards the Japanese. So the Shogunate are your more traditional sort of total war units. You know, your sort of archers, your glaives, your spearmen, your swords, and things like that. Bow and arrow. They have a lot of that sort of area in their army, along with wooden cannons, of course, because wooden cannons are just the best things in the world. Whereas your Imperials are embracing Western technology and the West, and thus, you know, making it so that they can actually overthrow and become the leaders of Japan. And it's kind of really the Imperials won in the end. The sort of Imperial mindset became sort of the mainstay as the Shogun fell, basically, and you had sort of the traditional samurai and samurai style life of people just disappeared. It's interesting because one of the generals in the Japanese-Russian War, he was born in this time period, and when the Japanese fought the Russians, of course the Japanese famously won, but it was at great cost. They lost a lot of people, and he felt ashamed of this, such to the point that he actually wanted to commit ritual suicide. He actually begged the emperor to let him commit suicide because he dishonoured his people by letting so many of them die. Of course, his emperor said no, because we need you, because you're actually a tactical genius. But there were still that sort of mentality still existed, and it did obviously exist until World War II. You still had people of that mindset in Japan, and it was still very much that sort of you know, with the divine wind, of course, and things like that. Which it wasn't just a Japanese thing; the Germans were doing it too. But it was very much a thing of honour, and suicide in Japan was not looked at as a taboo. It was looked at as an honourable way of going. the Japanese believed the heart was in the stomach, sort of the gut area of you. Not the actual literal heart, but your soul, sort of thing. So when you stabbed yourself in the stomach and committed seppuku, you're basically releasing your soul and sort of basically cutting out your heart, sort of thing. So it was very much a ritual thing. Now, I've never played as the Shogun. I've played the Imperials because I love basically turning up to a fight with tons and tons of artillery and guns and things like that. So that's actually what we're going to be doing today, because bollocks to actually, you know, bollocks to the rest of it. But we can still have the fun bug of bow and arrow units. I'm going to start off as Tosa, just because, well, the Yamachi clan, I'm going to butcher names by the way, have this fantastic headgear. So yeah, we're going to start off with this one. So the Yamachi clan owe their position in Tosa to the support for Tokugawa Ieyasu at Sakura in 1600. However, by the 1860s, the Tosa domain was loyal to the Emperor's party. Yamachi Tosei urged the Shogun to return authority to the Emperor and and so prevent Choshu and Satsuma from becoming too powerful. When this became impossible, Tosa sided with the Emperor's forces. Skilled in diplomacy, they also have a good deal of naval expertise, reflected by the initial ship experience and the ability to bombard targets on the shore. So we get 10 plus 10 to diplomacy, 2 to barrage, bomb and barrage from naval targets. I will show you that when we get to it. 1 respect, reduction to resistance to occupation across all provinces, and seafaring, plus 2 experience for all ship crews. So naval focused on this one, and bollocks, we've got a short campaign, but we'll continue after if we don't win. Naval combat has always been the weakness in Total War. It's always been the weak side. And when you come to Napoleon and Empire Total War, the naval combat is a bit of a slog, I find, and I've never actually enjoyed it until I played this version of the game. In Total War 2 Shogun, naval combat is actually pretty fun. So we'll go through the intro.
After the Sengoku Jidai, peace reigned for 200 years. In Kyoto, the emperor continued as divine head of state. But real power was held by the Tokugawa shogunate. For 2 centuries, they ruled with absolute authority. Japan prospered. The people were content. In 1853, American warships changed everything. The shogun abandoned his people and signed the Treaty of Peace and Amity. The gates to Japan were open. Trade was established, but the agreements favored the Western powers. The economy faltered, and the people suffered. In 1863, the emperor overruled the shogun. An imperial decree ordered the expulsion of all Western powers. No longer would Japan be westernized. The time had come to strike back. Western powers gave their answer.
Prepare to run out the guns. On my command, fire!
The treacherous Westerners brought death to our people. The Shogun no longer commanded respect or loyalty. Imperial rule had to be restored. To strengthen our position, the Emperor made peace with the British. We will study their ways and discover their secrets. Only then can we destroy the Shogun and return honor to Japan. The Emperor must be victorious.
So there we go, a basic of the actual, you know, what the history was at the time. Of course, we won't get too much into the history because, well, there is lots of it, and I don't know most of it because I'm not an expert on this time period in Japan. Sort of Asian history is a big weakness of mine. But about this game. So this game makes me hunger for a total war, or total World War One, or possibly World War Two, but World War One would be fitting. Total war variant of that, because it would be bloody amazing based off of this version of the game. Unfortunately, I don't think Creative Assembly are actually interested in going that way. I think they're more interested in sort of staying where they are and just continuing their sort of their efforts with sort of the ancient histories, which is great and all. And you know, I think the latest rumour is it's going to be back to Greece for the next Total War, so Total War Troy or something like that. But I would love to see a modernised variant of this game, because boy would that be fun. Anyway, let's get it started. So first of all, we've got 9,000 gold, and of course just bloody scratch my nose and put a fingerprint on my glasses so I can't see a thing, because I am a dork, if you didn't know already. So we'll start off with a bit of money, so let's get upgrading. So we've got a cadet school. I'm going to want to get a police station because I want the Ishin which are basically like a sort of police, secret police slash murder squad slash spy slash generally a badass person. So let's get him done. Probably get the farming up, so at least we've got that sort of relatively high up at the start, so we can start making some money. And we are at war with the Ozu over here. So we're going to be wanting to take out this province, and we're also going to be wanting to get that copper mining pit, because materials such as that are quite valuable. Unfortunately, we're starting in winter, of course. So winter, you actually gain attrition in this game. So attrition is not good because it means your army will slowly die. We'll also upgrade the town. And we will recruit... we might as well spend the money. We'll recruit a line infantryman or two. And do we have any cavalry at the moment?
My lord.
We've got one cav. Bit of infantry over there. We've got this general spears. So I'll recruit one more cavalry unit. We'll get moving over there. Now we've got a geisha straight away, so that's handy because they are very, very useful for spying and things like that. So we're going to send her into the province. She's going to go and do her job. So I think that's really all we can do for this turn. might be quicker to do a naval invasion of this place. I'm just sort of pondering. No, I think we'll go by we'll go by the we'll go by ground, but we will have our fleet come with us. So I'll send our fleet off to start going around there and start scouting it out. Let's drop diplomacy. We're trading, and that's all we know at the moment, so that's fine. So everything's good. So these guys are just our. I wish I could start as the Tokushima because I just want I want their clan's logo because it just looks like the modern Japanese Sentai. I forgot the name of that. Let's see if they're willing to become a vassal.
Meetings
I doubt
with
it.
friends
No,
are always
unacceptable.
a pleasant diversion. What has brought you here today?
But they're in military alliance with us, so that's good. So we're friends at least. And they're also a buffer state as well because there is a land bridge going this way towards Awaji. So we've got a land bridge there, so these are going to be a bit of a buffer. They're going to take the first hit if anyone comes onto our island. Okay, let's end the turn there. And in Total War tradition, it's going to take forever to go through all the different clans. I turned off computer view as well, so we won't be seeing the CPU moves. Because I always find that's a little bit cheaty. It's useful sometimes. You sort of do get that thing of like, well, of course I should be able to see this this person's movements because you know they're moving out in the open. You know, it should be pretty obvious to me how what's going on. But
What is your bidding at once?
I sort of like having
Well, my lord.
to actually work for it. So they've got a decent force there. Shogun force as well, so they're mainly going to be made up of sort of, you know, traditional sort of units. So let's keep our navy going around. I should have bombed there or there so they won't make any more money. Missed a chance there, that's alright, we're going to go around in a second. So that's all we can do on this turn, really. What are we actually researching at the moment? Consular Court. No, I don't really need that. Minus to construction across all courts is actually probably a better option for us for now. We'll go with that one for the moment. So let's keep going. Okay, we've got a mission issued to take that province, and if we do, we get the Emperor's Mandate, which 2 to influence, so that's good. So, we can either go across the roads, which will be quicker, or we can sneak through the forests. So, we might just go the forest route, because then we can sort of at least sneak. We're going to start taking attrition because it is winter, so we're going to lose a couple of men, but we want to get moving as fast as possible. Let's get our ship round. And we could bomb their moneymaker, or we could bomb their army, or their town. What's our town looking like? Let's bomb their moneymaker for now. We missed everything. Oh, great job. Even though it hit on the screen. Good job. So our Geisha, she can actually distract troops or enchant troops. So when you enchant a troop, it will actually make them join your side. When you distract an army, it will make them sort of stay in their position. So they can be quite useful in that respect. Let's try a distract army.
I will distract them.
And she failed. Good job. Your one job was to distract them. You didn't even get a good look to see what they were made up of. Good job. While we're doing that, though, we are going to start recruiting a few more members of our army because we're going to want something to defend home if need be. We'll just go for some levy infantry, that's fine. And naval, let's get another ship on the way. Let's just get another gunboat in the production line. Gunboats can be useful, they're quite fast, they're sort of, you know, they're nice and easy to use in combat, but generally you want heavy hitters. The bigger the guns, the bigger the boat, the easier it is to win. I'm actually going to jump back and just get some troops back. Instead of actually invading in winter, we're going to wait a turn just because I think that's probably our best idea. And some levy infantry now, that's good, that's for home defence. We can now hire the Shan Shishi, so let's hire him because he's going to be very useful. And we might need some backup for this because they've gone into their city now, which can be very hard. So what you have is basically like the modern Total War, you have a levy. So you actually have like your garrison there, and then you have your army on top of it. So when you're actually attacking, it can be pretty rough because there can be quite a few troops. So
My lord?
we can try distracting the army.
Get your will.
Failed again. Great job, you're doing a fantastic job. And we're going to try and bomb that site. Okay, cool, we've bombed the copper pit. So the copper pit makes some money, so the copper pit is worth a bit of money to them. That's going to mean they've got less money, so that's a good thing to do. We'll end our turn there. Now when you recruit a new sort of agent, it does take a little bit of time. They can't move the first turn, so you have to just let them sit there and wait. So he'll wait it out for us. We're going to want him to go over to the other side as well because he's got a great ability after you capture an enemy position. The line infantry are just better in every single way, so we're going to recruit 2 of those. We're going to get a little bit of line infantry in place, and we're going to send him onto the boats as well. So what we might do as well is might just sit here. Now their army's moved out of the fort, so we might just give them a quick bomb, just kill a few of their troops, which is always fun.
What would you have me do?
And we don't have enough money to distract anyone, so that's good. We've not got enough money to do anything at the moment. So let's end our turn right there, and let's start moving our army into the forest. So when units are in forests, they can go hidden and can ambush the enemy as well, which is really, really handy. So he's gone back into his fort, of course. Now, if they do have a navy, it could be coming around to our navy anytime soon, so we might be engaged in a naval combat situation. Okay, we've researched epic architecture. Yeah, we might as well go for that one next. No, we'll go that way next. We'll go that way next, because that makes more sense for now. Okay, we'll study that one, and then we'll go for military focus. Get on the boat. Get on the boat. On the boat. And our army. Did I put the wrong army on the boat? I did, didn't I?
As you wish, my lord.
That's something that's very easy to happen sometimes. So put line infantry in there. Now, we've upgraded our town, so we can get a new building. So we've currently got a cadet school, we've got a police station. Now, I'm going to have to wait a little bit because I want to get a cannon range, because artillery is generally king. So we want to get an artillery range going on. Now, what are they doing? They've got cadet school, traditional dojo, stronghold. Yeah, so we're going to, this province is going to be mainly our sort of cash cow, so to say. Now we'll do a distract, see if we can actually distract something this
I
time.
will fetch my blood.
Yay! She did something. So she actually distracted the army. So distracting the army is useful because it means that they can't be they can't move for a turn, that they can't do a job for a turn. So what do we want? Telescope, increase map range, or the Dana? And yeah, we'll go for that one because we want a little bit more chance. And then we can level her up. So she's only a rank 2, so she's going to get rank 2 items. So we might as well get both of them. So an increase to entertainment, so charm, and inspiring troops, and distracting troops as well. So that's going to be useful for when we actually start our assault. Bomb the city quickly, and again we miss. Congratulations, guys, you are terrible. So might as well move our army a little bit further forwards. Now they're going to be in the open, so we're going to be a bit more exposed here, but maybe we might be lucky and the enemy will attack us. So right now we can't really win an assault on this army. They are building a port though, so we're going to come around here.
We still have a good wind setting sail, sir. That is a dangerous course.
And we've run out of points, so we can't bombard it. So we're just going to... I just want to make sure that that doesn't get finished, because that looks like it's got one turn to finish, so then they can start building their own naval sort of forces. We don't want to have their navy coming up and grabbing us from behind. So while we're waiting on that, we might as well get a few more troops recruited for next turn. We'll get a couple of volunteers, just have some different flavour for the army. And we'll go for 3 of those, and that should be enough for our fight. So we'll just move to the forest here. We should just be out of range of their attack, and we're not going to do anything because we're out of money. So we'll wait this turn. Unfortunately, their port's quite far away from their city. Sometimes cities and ports are quite close together, so that makes things a little bit easier. Unfortunately, at this moment, their port's quite far away from their city, so we've got to sort of do attack the port, and that will damage it, so at least they won't be able to do anything. And then we can come back here. So the port's going to be needing repair sort of for a turn, hopefully. No, it didn't do a full attack. I forgot to do something. Oh, how strange. And we killed 3 of the general's agents. We also took out their cadet school, so they can't train anyone. We also got some level ups on our troops there. Our naval forces there. So, volunteers. You are volunteering to go into the breach. Alright, so this ship is ready to go. Now we're going to go around this way because just in case they have a navy launch, we don't want to run into them basically with just a gunboat. It would be a little bit dangerous. Okay, so let's end this turn. And they've sallied forth to battle, so we have got a battle on our hands. And luckily we are in range of our ships because we have naval bombardment. And this is the thing I love about this game. This is just the one of my favourite things in this Total War. So I'm going to do a quick save because, you know, chances are I'm going to do terribly and fail epically and things will go wrong. So let's start this battle. And so we're going to get ready for the Battle of Io Fields. So there is a honking great mountain between us and the enemy, which is not too great, and there's a lot of forest as well. So one thing in our advantage is there's some water here, so we're going to use that to our advantage, and we're actually going to set our line up at the back here. Probably should set it facing towards the enemy, not away from the enemy. So we're going to set up really quite far away, right at the back here. There are some buildings here as well, which we could possibly use to our advantage, but we're just going to use this sort of water because that's going to slow them down a little bit. So, I honestly thought I had much more firepower than this. Okay, so we've got Tosa, which is a flintlock sort of combatant. They have a... they're quite good in melee combat as well as ranged combat, so they're quite useful. So let's take a little look at our army right now. So flintlock, samurai sort of thing, and they've also got their katanas as well. We have our levy pikemen, who basically are just pikemen. They also have katanas, because everybody has katanas. Then we have our Yarikachi. They just said it for us.
Yari at the ready.
So these are a bit more of a sort of glaive infantry. They're sort of pikes, bit better armoured. Of course, they've got the traditional Japanese armour, sort of leather and sometimes even paper. They actually use quite a lot of paper armour in the time as well, which was very cool. I love paper armour. It's such a cool idea. And you've got that sort of Shogun style helmets and things like this. This is a sort of throwback to the Shogun sort of ways of things. Then we have our generals. So we've got so I only had one general, but okay, we've got 2 generals. Sakamoto Arayama, and Yamachi Tario. So we've got two generals. So general units are basically just cavalry units. As you can see, just general basic cavalry units. So as we go down the other end of the line, we have our Saber cavalry in beautiful white imperial coats with red pants, because, you know, got to look somewhat dashing and fancy. The red, of course, will hide all the blood as you get shot in the penis. Then we have our line infantry. So line infantry are really handy because they, if you mod the game a little bit, as I said, using slight mod here, we've got ranked fire ability, which means that they'll kneel to reload, allowing those behind to have a clear shot, basically. So these are really handy, and of course they also have bayonets on them. So the line infantry are very handy, and then finally we have our levy infantry, who are basically just basic infantrymen. They've got sort of standard rifles, they're not that good.
Line infantry.
The line infantry, I'm pretty sure, have actually sort of more advanced, sort of like a sort of not a flintlock rifle, sort of a little bit more improved. The levy infantry, of course, have a pure flintlock cannon, so they're a little bit less effective, especially in the rain. They can sometimes be thrown out a little bit. So we're going to want our infantry in the front. So we're going to set up quite a wide line here. Click you, unclick you, and click you. So we should have ranked firing for those.
Guns prepared, sir.
These guys will set into a two-line formation, so as wide as we can go, really. So we've got a nice wide set of line infantry, and also there's a few puddles in front of them, so that should hopefully set it, so it's a little bit trickier for the enemy. Now we'll have our cavalry, and which general should we use? We'll use this general because he's got a fancier hat. We'll have them in the side here. Mind them actually going up into the forests, but I'm afraid the enemy will spot them pretty quickly. So we'll have them set to this side. They're a bit of distance away, but it will give us time to hopefully flank the enemy. So that's what we're going to try and do with those. Now, of course, our spear levy, we're going to have sitting right behind our line infantry, because they should hopefully be useful in that respect.
Spear levy. Spears to the fore. Spears at the ready.
Let's have all of our spears behind in a row, so we can set out a similar set length line with those, and then the general will sit actually select an area. We'll put the general's unit out quite wide. General's pretty exposed there, of course, because he's right behind the infantry and stuff, so he could get shot. We might move him as it goes on. We'll see how the battle goes. So let's get this started. Let's get this show on the road. But one of the things we have in our advantage is naval support. Naval support. So let's look at their army quickly as they're on the march. So they've got a lot of spears, matchlock, spears, levy infantry, and that's about it. They've mainly got horses and spears. So our line infantry should, in theory, take out the spears and infantry pretty quickly. But we've got to be careful of the horses, because if they come out a cavalry charge, they're going to be quite dangerous, because cavalry can really F you up pretty quickly in the game. So that's why we've got our spear infantry so close behind, because we're going to want to move them probably in front as soon as that cavalry starts moving. and that way they can sort of charge in pretty quickly, because they could try and flank us. If they do, we've got spears either side of our cavalry, sorry, not our cavalry, our line infantry even. So we should be able to defend them pretty well. Now our naval support is on a cooldown, so we're just going to wait for that to come into effect. And it's going to take them a little bit of time to come to us. Of course, they do have a downhill advantage at the beginning, but that's not going to last for long. So, really, we should mow down most of the foot units without any trouble. It's just the cavalry that's probably going to give us a hard time, because they've got some pretty good cavalry on their side. As you can see, they've got the katana wielding cavalry with some heavy armour on them, and well, I've got two sets of that sort of sorry, that's the general's unit, sorry, and then they have the Yarikari who have spears. So these guys are very good for infantry hunting, and another unit set for for cavalry hunting even. So good cavalry hunting units. So they're going to start getting into the forests now, so we're not going to be able to see them quite as well. So our naval bombardment's going to be ready shortly. So we know that they're roughly about there, so let's set it for there for now. We'll set out one volley first of all. And this is the fun part of the game. This is why this is possibly one of my favourite Total Wars. Now, we might not see it this time because they're going to be hidden by trees. But wait for it, because this is epic. There's some more cavalry. Now I'm going to start trying to run away. Let's see if we actually hit anything. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? There we go. There we go. So we just took out 30 of their troops. Took out a good number of troops that volley. Caused some damage to their lines. Made them just a little bit flustered. Okay. So this cavalry is breaking off a little bit. So we're going to meet them in combat. These guys just have swords. So, oh wait, no, they have spears. Shit. Well, we're going to feed this cavalry to this cavalry. But our general's in that unit, so we should hopefully be okay. We're going to inspire.
Your general is under attack.
So we're just going to get them in combat nice and quickly. They're flanking us with some cavalry, so we're going to get 2 units of spears this way. Don't run in front of the guns. What are you doing? What are you doing? This is going to be a bit of a grindy fight on this side. What we want. So move them in quickly, and as you can see, the water's doing its job. So the cavalry come in for the first charge. And we've got more cavalry there, that's general units. Inspire. Got quite a lot of cavalry on their side. I'm going to send them down this way. This is not going as planned. Send a shore bombardment in that way. This battle's not going too well because obviously they are spear cavalry, so that's not too good. Charge our general in. They're still firing. Where is the naval bombardment? There it is. That's what we wanted. Give us some good hits, damn it. taken out a fair few of them. But we are going to lose this fight. We are not doing very well. Things are not going well at the moment. Things could be going better. Disengage, try and get those cavalry. The sheer amount of cavalry they had has really made us, really not helped us in our...
Good news, sir! The enemy general is dead!
One of our generals is dead, but so is one of ours, so we're actually going to disengage our general just to try... no, not you, we want the Yari carry. Get over there. You guys attack these guys. This is a bit of a grindy fight, unfortunately. Go and attack, go and attack, go and attack, go and attack. Okay, doing that, so, okay. Keep killing them, keep killing them. You guys get back here, start shooting people. Actually, shoot them, shoot them, shoot them. Don't just chase them, don't just go into bloody melee. Bollocks, we're just going to charge them. This is a very messy battle. We might somehow get through this. Not the best battle that we've ever had. Actually, no, shoot them in the back, shoot them in the back. Just charge them with spears. Sod it. Guns have failed us, let's go back to the old way, let's use spears. So they've broken, so that's good. And they should break pretty soon, hopefully. And that was our first battle, which went appallingly. We did not do very well at all in that battle. I think our first salvo really missed quite a few of their men, unfortunately. Let's have a look in the forest. Yeah, you can see.
Triumphed over the enemy.
We didn't do too well, and I think one of our generals died. So yeah, all in all, that was not a good battle, but we did win in the end, so that's something. So we'll end that battle there. We won't run down the rest of the enemy. So that went appallingly bad, although we only lost 2 units. We only lost the Levy Infantry and the Sabre Cavalry. Luckily our general survived, so... Sorry, excuse me there. So, some form of... some form of good luck came our way. Not much, but a little bit did come our way, so that's something, I guess. Now... we're going to want to come around here because we're going to need to make sure that they do not have the ability to basically make anything in their port, because we need to take the port out of action for the time being. So we need a navy there because we have got reinforcements coming. They're going to take a couple of turns to come in though. Now, this army is basically on the ropes, so... let's just distract this army in here, hopefully. Failed as usual, you are failure to me. So, they only have Levy Infantry left there. And their generals, so nothing much. We're going to resolve that one. So lost 8, and we managed to kill all of them, so that's some good news. Some minor good news from that action. And it appears pretty much just their levy is left, so just their army in there is not really much to go by. So next time we will be landing our troops over here, and basically getting back and attacking and trying to take out this city. So I will see you in next episode.